everybody. Welcome to day 5 of STL Startup Week. We hope you've been having a wonderful time learning all about entrepreneurship. Today's theme is scaling and growth, so we're super excited to kick off this session with Mark and Cody, who will be talking about AI and business system development. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark and Cody. So father-son duo Mark and Cody are lifelong serial entrepreneurs and technologists, best known for their pioneering work in real estate automation through their company Workflow Secrets. With decades of combined experience building software solutions, they created the groundbreaking Systems Accelerator Manager, SAM, an AI-powered platform designed to streamline operations, boost client engagement, and drive business growth. Mark is a recognized leader in real estate technology with a long history of developing tools that automate complex workflows and deliver measurable business impact. Cody specializes in designing AI-driven strategies that enhance efficiency and elevate customer experiences across industries. Together, they bring a wealth of knowledge on how businesses of all sizes can leverage AI to optimize their operations, reduce manual tasks, and scale faster, making them the perfect guides for businesses looking to harness AI's transformational potential. Let's give it a hands up for Mark and Cody.
Remind me to tip you on that that introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. I know it's first session is always a little bit harder, but it does look like this space has accommodated us greatly with coffee and everything, so that's pretty awesome. We've got some good stuff for you guys today. Hopefully you'll be able to get a lot out of this. Because this is a workshop format, we're also going to have some resources. And we're QR code guys, so there's going to be some QR codes up on the screen to get started. But let's go ahead and talk about what are we going to learn today. Well, we're going to dive into what we have called the core strategies framework. And
We can make them available afterwards.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to be talking about the core strategies framework. This is how you guys can start to identify and build your core systems that are going to help your business. We're also going to be sharing about world-class client experiences. These are the experiences that help you deliver exceptional experiences to your people. And then we're going to be focusing on AI mastery. Now, you're not going to walk away masters of AI. Those don't exist yet. And a little bit of a disclaimer for you. We are going to use the software that we've developed as an example. We're not here to sell it to you. That's for a different time and a different place. But go ahead and if you would like, there's a QR code right here. That you can just go ahead and snap a photo of. That's going to take you to our resources. Once we get back to those slides, the QR code will be available as well. And there's going to be a main, they're called one-pagers, main one-pager that will allow you to access each of the sections. Then we'll go through and we'll give you time to work through them as we go. Everyone kind of generally set. If not, we can keep working as we go. Mike, you want to hop off for a second?
There you go. Sorry. Very good. There we go.
All right, and if you weren't able to grab that QR code, there is a web address, workflowsecrets.info/AI Business Systems Development. That's the name of today's session, so that should help you out. We'll, like I said, when we get to them, we'll have that. But today's ultimate goal is to help you guys start identifying how to move from what is traditionally known as the hustler mindset. These 14-hour days, 6 days a week, got to grind it out, and that's the only way to be successful, towards a systems thinker. And Mark and I have a background in real estate technology, And what we find, these gurus of real estate technology, time and time again, have one secret, and it's systems. And so that's kind of the crux of today. But on the other side of the coin, those who are not necessarily successful, they're struggling in business, they find themselves with these two main issues. And these key struggles are time. They're trying to be the hustler. They're trying to grind it out, and they're trying to find solutions. But at the end of the day, they just don't have enough time. And then if they do find the time, they don't have enough technology, or their technology is lacking the power. So we are going to be shifting our mindset from the hustler who doesn't have the time, doesn't have the technology, to the systems thinker. And that's the ultimate goal for today.
And ultimately, whenever you think about it, even in your business, and while we will be using real estate as our basis, just because that's what we've done so much in, this is available for anybody in any industry. Don't take that just because we're talking real estate, and if you're not real estate, this doesn't apply to you. It applies to you.
That's right. So here's what you don't need to be successful. As you walk away today, you don't need an MBA. You don't need a bachelor's in computer engineering. You don't need a big tech budget for lots and lots of tools. You don't need a 25th or a 26th hour in the day, though if anyone finds one, please let me know. I am looking diligently for that. You don't need tools that are already building automations, and you don't need them running inside your business yet. And the last thing that you don't need a team from MIT, NASA, or Tesla with all the technical know-how. We're going to be taking this and really focusing on the ground level so you guys can be successful. So let's go and start. We need to kind of identify what a system is. Now, I really want to avoid technical jargon, so that's where this comes into play. But a system, it's not your PlayStation, and it's not a software that you might be using. A system is actually just a series of tasks that make up repeatable processes. And anytime you find something that you're doing again and again, that is where you find a system.
Anything that is something that you run into maybe 3 times or more should be systematized. If you're doing anything that's repeatable, that's where you need to focus and look at. So you're looking at what are those things that you can take away from your day-to-day and let something else handle it for you.
That's right. And the bullseye focus, if you really want to think about this, we all have systems in our life. We call these routines. You had a morning routine before you came here. Maybe on Monday you get back to the office, you have an office routine. And these are all just systems that have been applied into your everyday life. And so if you start thinking about systems as just routines, it makes it much easier to identify and start building them. So Mark, I want you to kind of dive into this traditional way of identifying and building these systems.
Yeah, in the past, we have coached and trained tens of thousands of agents to really look into their business, either as individual agents or as teams, and sit down for a 2-week period. And that seems like a long time, but figure out what is it that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. One thing that you can do is, like, every 30 minutes, stop for just a second. Think about what you're doing, jot down what it is that you're doing on a sticky note or whatever, and put it to the side. Every 30 minutes, you're identifying something that you're doing. Now, we can take that information, and in the past, really what we've told people is, take those sticky notes, put them up on a timeline on your wall and figure out where things go. Now we can use AI for doing those types of things. Let them figure out where things go. And instead of putting it on sticky notes, put it into the computer.
That's right. And so when you're doing this, you set an alarm for maybe every 30 minutes. You're looking for things that are happening again and again. You're looking for things that slow you down. And you're looking for those things where you realize, oh man, I'm kind of not being the most productive in that moment. And then you start to optimize that. Now, if you have a team or if you're in charge of a large group, it's encouraged that you actually apply this broadly. And so have them do it as well. Maybe you need to do it in different shifts. That way you don't just have lots of people, every 30 minutes having to break their focus. But what it allows you to do is get a really good idea of all of your processes so you can start to find where those things overlap.
A lot of times you'll find that there are people doing things that shouldn't be doing those things. They're the wrong people for doing whatever it is. So you'll be able to bring together the compilation of all the different people and figure out what is the optimum way of doing some task.
That's right. And while you're identifying these systems, you're going to realize that they're kind of just hidden in plain sight. You didn't realize they were there until you see them, and then they become very obvious to you. But once you've identified them, you can start to build best practices that are consistent, and they're going to create high-quality interactions for all of your clients, which is ultimately the goal. Now, this is where the idea of world-class client experiences comes into play. But when you start using AI in these, the AI is going to allow it to always be on. Once you've built out this system through some automations that we're going to dive into in a second, it's always on, and even if you're driving from meeting to meeting, even if you took the day off, or if it's 2 a.m. and you're sleeping, your people are going to be able to be engaged with. And then the other cool thing that you can do is AI has the ability to personalize at scale. And what that means is each interaction can be tailored to the person you're speaking to, and it can also leverage things it knows about you to also ensure that it's speaking how you would speak. So it can create consistency across that.
And you're not just talking about merge fields in a email or something like that. You're actually talking about taking the content and personalizing the content to that person before it's actually sent out.
That's right. So the first thing that we need to do to start figuring out what our systems need to include, what's inside these systems, is we need to focus in on our business niche. Now, I would wager most of you guys probably already know what your business niche is. Maybe you have a couple of them, but your business niche is just the specific focus that you bring to your specific little world of business, right? For real estate agents that we work with, maybe it's luxury homes. For other industries, maybe it's specifically with HVAC in St. Louis, Missouri. Or maybe you work in disaster insurance and you are currently in Florida making sure that everything is taken care of, right? Or maybe you work in product sales and you need to specifically focus on those things. But once you identify the specific focus you have, not only can you start to create specific content to all these different things, but you can start to think about, okay, these are the questions my people have, and you can start to build resources that answer these questions. You can put them on to your website, and you can start to help your people out.
Yeah, really, the thing about the niche, everybody knows this, but if you go out, you buy a brand new car, maybe a white Corvette, and you start driving around, all of a sudden you start seeing white Corvettes. And it's because your focus is on something. If you niche your business to a certain niche, a certain topic, then those people that are looking for that actually find you much, much quicker. And you can create the content using AI to be able to focus that in much easier now.
Now, the other thing you need to do is focus on what we call your member voice. And that's a fancy word, but it just means how you write or speak to your people, right? And so what you can do to identify this, maybe you ask your friends and your family, hey, when I'm talking to you, what are some attributes that I have? Am I funny? Am I knowledgeable? Am I inspiring? Am I quirky? All of these things can help you kind of determine that. Now, another thing that you can do is you could take perhaps a writing sample and you plug it into some of these AI systems and you start asking it to discern what these are. Now, once you have that, you have a really good idea of how to speak in your written materials in a way that also is going to be authentic and organic to you. Now, the key to this, I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while, I meet someone that I've always admired, right? Meet your heroes, and they say never meet your heroes. And it's always so awkward because you are talking to them and you're like, man, they are not the same person that I thought I was interacting with. Well, in a sales capacity, this is terrible because this means you're going to be losing out on some of the credibility that maybe you were earned while you were communicating with them. So knowing your specific member voice allows you to show up in any written format, any social media format, or in person the exact same, so you're creating consistency. So after we have all of this, we can start diving into this core strategies framework. And Mark, I'm just going to let you take the bandwagon on this one.
Yeah, so I've been teaching the core strategies. It's something I came up with several years ago and have coached, again, thousands, tens of thousands of agents on how they do their business in certain pillars. And these pillars, fortunately for everybody else, are the same. So no matter if you're in real estate or if you're in other businesses, there's typically, and this is an acronym, CORE, for conversions, operations, retention, and experiences. Your conversions is everything from the time that you start that lead magnet, you're getting some leads coming in, those leads come in, you go through the conversion process, you're nurturing them, and finally you get to some point at which you are signing some kind of agreement. In real estate, it's that buyer's agreement, that seller's agreement. That is the conversions piece of it. Once they've signed that agreement, then everything that happens from the listing agreement all the way to closing day, that's your operations pillar. Operations is where you make your money. And it's also, in many times, it's the most tedious part that you have to deal with. In real estate, I've got agents that have hundreds of things that have to get done at certain times. If they don't get done, the deal falls through. So you've got to make sure all those things are complete. You set up the systems to be able to handle that. After close, then, is your retention area. How do you deal with those people after close and nurture them, continue to nurture them until they buy again or they refer people to you? And if you take all three of those and add in what we call the experiences, making something an experience memorable so that they will remember that experience, they will remember what they did with you, that makes it so much easier for them to remember you at the time that it comes back around. So you get the referrals, you get the repeat business.
That's right. And so ultimately the key focus of this is when you start using the core strategies framework, you can start focusing in on different areas of your business. Is it bringing in leads, turning them into customers? Is it the operations that you're going through? But what you're doing is you're building the platform in which your business can grow. That means that once you have these systems working for you, you can hire someone else who can have that same repeatable process, and you're not having to reinvent the wheel each time. So what we're going to do is this is a workshop. We're going to take about 3 minutes, and I want to task you guys to think just a little bit about some of our core systems. So this might be thinking about your current systems, what processes are working, what bottlenecks do you have. This could be what systems maybe need to take priority. What things in your business are you like, man, I really need to focus on this. And ultimately, we're going to look at how you can utilize AI. Is it for generating some content? Is it for helping with your operations? Now, there is a homework piece for that. The QR code is up here, or you can visit workflowsecrets.info/AI business systems development. That's the name of today's session. But let's go ahead and let's take just 3 minutes and start jotting down a little bit of that.
Think about the core pieces, your conversions, your operations, or retaining customers. Pick one of those and say, okay, what's the most important thing to me, and identify what are some systems that maybe I could implement within my business. And maybe you already have some of them, but if you do, think about the experience part. How could I make that experience just a little bit better?
Awesome. If you have any questions, feel free and ask.
Are we able to get these slides?
You know, we didn't send the slides to anyone, but we can make sure you guys get access to them after.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We can put it on that same link, put a link on that link.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, of course.
If you deal with customers, how do you attract those customers? What things do you generate or create if once you have those customers in place, how do you service them? That's your operations. And then once you've serviced them, you don't really want it to be just a transactional thing anymore. You really want it to be a relationship. And then based off of that relationship, the recurring part of it, the referrals and the nurturing of that relationship is what brings them back around.
Awesome. All right, well, that's been about 3 minutes. Obviously, ultimately, I just want to get you started in on this process, but I want to take a quick second. Do we have anyone who's bold enough to maybe share something that they're focused in on? Yeah.
Basically, for my clients, I focus on appointment setting, follow-up, nurture, making sure that you're having those, like consistent touch points with the client, whether it's like new business or old business. Data entry, so taking the data you have and putting it into your system in a streamlined manner, so you're not having to do it every day or it's automatically going in there. And then like recurring invoices is a big one. So
Yeah.
like subscription model clients, they want to have a way to send that invoice every month without having to call the client.
Yeah. I would encourage you to, as far as the data entry part of it, especially with AI now, I mean, of course, there is some disclosure type information you got to be careful of, but it is so easy now to do a recording or whatever and have everything not only transcribed into the system, but also have it automatically fill in the fields of information. Now you're starting to collect knowledgeable, intelligent information that can be utilized in other ways and not just a database. It's what we take that information and we're utilizing it in every aspect of communication from that moment forward. You know, if they like, maybe as you're talking or whatever, and they just happen to mention, they've gone to Aruba and they really enjoyed Aruba, or they really enjoy, going to a Cardinals game, whatever. That type of information collected, once you've got that in your system, it can then be utilized as part of the communication. Hey, I just happen to have a couple tickets to the Cardinals game. Would you be interested in that?
I'm in.
And then, be able to utilize it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. So here's kind of our formula, something that I'm pretty proud of that's successful. In real estate, everyone is always looking for more leads. And so this is something that a lot of real estate agents have been able to take and employ directly into their business. So this is kind of our formula. What we do is we find our people. We figure out who's that niche of people we work with. And then we figure out how to build that authentic voice, right? Our member voice, if you will. Now from there, what we do is we start building resources for them. These are just general questions that I get asked a lot, or maybe topics of interest that would drive them towards us. Now, what's really great about how you do this is you can start to capitalize on search traffic, you can start to capitalize on social media traffic, or maybe you just start sending it to email lists or to people you follow online. But what you're doing is you're pointing them towards these resources that you've created, oftentimes on your website. Now from here, you can build what's called a lead form, and basically you're asking them to trade their details for your pieces of information. So now from here, you can take that and you can start building these relationships. So it's a really easy way to start gathering in leads that are of interest, they're interested in whatever you're working, and you've already given them that very first win, if you will, in establishing, hey, I'm the guy who's going to help solve your problem. So that's kind of a formula for how we do it, but that's just the start. So the next thing that we need to focus in on is our world-class client experience. And I'm going to try and prove a case of why this matters to you guys. And Mark, you've got just the best story for this.
Yeah, so it's been a few years ago. I was taking a business trip to San Diego, and being from the Midwest, I like my steak and potatoes. So got to San Diego, it was middle of the day, wanted to have a good meal. There just happened to be a Ruth's Chris around the corner. I decided, okay, let's go hit Ruth's Chris. So I stepped in, the receptionist greeted me, asked me my name, asked me if I was dining alone or if there was others, and told them my name was Mark. They put me on the list, and I'd be dining alone. At that point, the attendee came, and the greeter said, "This is Mr. Stepp. He is going to be dining alone with us. Please take him, into the area." I came into the area, into the eating area. They gave me a great seat, great view, loved the view. She asked if I needed anything, again, calling me by name. At that point, the waiter, the server came, and she said, "This is Mr. Stepp, who'll be dining alone with us. And this is Tom." I actually forget his name. But then he started communicating with me, very personal, and gave me all the information I needed. They went through the process of asking me what I want. I said, "I really want a good steak and potatoes, maybe some additional stuff." And it wasn't exactly what I wanted on the menu, but he said, "Hey, I'll take care of you." So he goes back, he says, "Wait just a second," goes back, comes back, and it was very prompt. And he said, "Okay, it'll be ready in X amount of minutes." And just kept checking on me, different things. At that point, almost at the exact time that he said it would be ready, here comes my steak. And I start to, go through the process. He said, "Anything else that I can get for you?" I said, "No, thank you." And then just as he started walking, I started looking at the tables like, "Oh, there's no steak sauce." I said, "Oh, can you give me some steak sauce?" And he kind of stopped for a second, turns around, he goes, "Tell you what, taste the steak first and let me know if you really need steak sauce." Now, I've always had steak sauce. There's just nothing that I've never had steak without steak sauce. And so I was kind of taken back. And he said, "Most people will have steak sauce with their steak simply because their steak isn't prepared properly. And if it's not prepared properly, I'll take it back and give you a new one." So I said grudgingly, it's like, "Okay." And it was the best steak. My mouth was just watering. I mean, it was just tender, and I could have cut the thing with a butter knife almost. And everything tasted great. He looked at me and said, "Do you still need that sauce?" I said, "No, thank you." And we went on. And there was just different touch points at different times. He eventually gave me my ticket. I paid with my American Express, and everything was amazing. I went to my business meetings, did all my things, went back home. So I flew back in, drove in, and just happened to see I needed to get the mail, so I opened the mail, and there was a card from Ruth's Chris. And they said, "Thank you so much for dining with us. We hope you had a great business trip. Come visit us again if you're ever in the area." Okay? Now, at that point, my mouth was watering again because I wanted another steak. And I just started thinking about, that experience that I had with them was very memorable. And I have a question for you guys. Who benefited from that? Who benefited from that experience? Well, definitely I benefited because I got a great steak, I got great service, I had an enjoyable time. But they benefited. They got paid, obviously, and paid well. But I have talked about that particular experience hundreds of times. Hopefully somebody's gone to that steakhouse and had the same experience. The question is, was that just by happenstance, or was it by design? It was by design. And if we take our own businesses and think about the experience through the client's eyes, how can we make it more enjoyable? And some of those things you have to do manually. But if there's anything in there that you can do that's automated, that can be automated, can use AI to help generate content. Now, I did not give them my address. Somebody had to figure out, but there's a process for figuring that out. Back then, I really think it was before Google. So, it was one of those things that they had to do some looking to find me. But, of course, I guess it could have maybe gotten it through American Express. I don't know. But the whole idea is build that experience so that people remember you, so that you will come back.
That's right. And so the big key takeaway from this is clients remember how you made them feel and how smooth the process was. Mark only talked about the transaction after explaining the overall experience. And this is something, if a steakhouse can do it, we can absolutely do it, because business is much easier to apply this kind of thinking to. So one of the really cool things that you can do is you can actually create these world-class client experiences using AI. Now, this comes in lots of different forms. Maybe it's from ensuring that you have follow-up, or ensuring that messages get sent to a person while you're doing that. But the ultimate goal is to make each interaction that you have with a person feel memorable. And you're ultimately working to turn clients into advocates when you do this. And this is something that I personally, I keep tabs on a lot of St. Louis-based companies that are excellent at this. It's the handwritten thank you cards. It's the little one-off messages that they send during birthdays. It's lots of stuff like that. But happy clients are always going to be your biggest advocates. So this is like a key right here. You can unlock a lot of things in your business if you know this, if you use this, and if you practice this. So we have lots of different ways in which we do this in our business, and we use our software to actually do this. So one of these ways is a birthday world-class client experience. And anytime you have a person's information inside a system, you are talking to them, you're building a relationship with them, you learn their birthday. That's awesome. You throw that into the system, and the system can then trigger an automation to occur. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to do a couple things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to send me an email a week before their birthday. It's going to pre-write a message that's custom to them, and it's going to say, hey, Cody, birthday's coming up in a week. Here's a message that I wrote for them. Go ahead and take what I wrote, handwrite it in your own words, put a little Post-it note on or a stamp on it, and send it out in the mail. Now they're going to receive a birthday card on their birthday. That's pretty cool. Again, handwritten is always just a little bit extra. Does it take a couple extra seconds? Sure, but you're going to absolutely head over heels reap the benefit of that. Now, some other stuff you can do. I'm a big reader, so ultimately I end up giving gifts of books pretty often, and usually there's a book of the year that I kind of focus in on. And so maybe a week before, the system sends me a notice, hey, this person's birthday is coming up. Go ahead and order the book. Here's their address, so it makes it to them on time. Or maybe it's ordering them a crumble cookie or a bottle of wine. Or maybe you're a foodie and a new restaurant just opened in town. You take your significant other on a date night and you go try one of the new appetizers. Well, you decide, oh, this appetizer was excellent, and you know that Johnny is a foodie too, so you go pick up a $5 gift card, and in that birthday letter you say, hey, I tried this place out, I would love for you to go try it out for your birthday, the appetizer's on me. So there's these small little things that you can start to do using automations just from the fact that I learned their birthday that allowed me to create a better experience for them.
And everything that he just said, from the handwriting to the ordering, all that can be done using webhooks and automation so that you don't even have to do it. Even the handwriting. There's printers out there that have pinned cards that will create this for you in your own handwriting.
So one more example, and then we're going to task you guys to kind of think about this for your own business, is what I call a post-sale world-class client experience. Now, we work with real estate agents, and oftentimes in real estate, you have a post-sale gift that you give as a real estate agent when the person buys a home. Well, my idea for this, and agents absolutely love it, is there are touch points, there are moments in which you should reach out to someone to not only remind them who you are, but oftentimes after the sale, when there's not a commission on the line, agents just kind of let everything drop off the table and they focus back on bringing in new leads and working with their customers. And so these past clients, time and time again, find a new agent, or they just end up forgetting about you. So this is a great way to remind these real estate agents, or remind the clients that these real estate agents exist. And it's things like at 6 months, you know they need to get their HVAC filter replaced. So you send them a little message, hey, don't forget to change your HVAC this month. Here's the link to the specific one that you need for your house. Now, if you do it right, you can also tack on some like affiliate programs. Maybe you get a little extra commission out of it. That's pretty cool too. But you can start to focus in on things. Everyone gets a Happy St. Patrick's Day email from every company you've ever given your email to for the last 25 years, right? No one's opening those. No one cares about those. But if you're focusing in the specific content to your person, to what they're looking for, and you actually give them something of aid, man, they're going to remember you. It's just the easiest way to build in. So HVAC's a really easy one. Maybe it's light bulbs. Maybe it's starting to get cold. Don't forget to winterize your house. If you're a first-time home buyer, maybe you don't know that you need to cover your faucets. This is a great opportunity for you as a real estate agent to really help them out and continue to be that expert that's helping solve those problems. So that is for real estate, but hopefully it's gotten the ideas kind of churning in your mind. So we're going to take another 3 minutes inside the second handout, and I want you guys to write down 6 ideas that could be added to your business. And if you want some extra credit, maybe you focus in on the post-sale client process and how you can make this really great. And if you make it this far, maybe you identify 4 potential experiences that you could offer. So go ahead and start thinking on that. See if you can't get those juices churning.
Those forms that whenever you use the QR code, those are actual forms. So you can actually type in them if after you get back to your office and you want to go through and you can recall them. They're documents that are live documents. So as you start typing in, they can be retained and utilized. The one-pagers are a great resource for being able to hold that information and then even do some integration. I think whenever you start thinking about that post-sale, I mean, just me getting that card handwritten from, I mean, the chef was on there, the waiter, the receptionist, there were several people that had gone through and signed that card. And they were different pens, they were different, you could tell it wasn't just a standardized card. What is something in your business that you could go through and after the sale be able to enrich their experience?
Cool. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. It's been about 3 minutes. Do we have anyone brave enough to share maybe an idea that they've got for something that they can add to their business? Yeah.
So one thing I do, I'm in a service-based business, and I love your story. I actually used to work at Restaurant, so I was part of the process of.
Oh, excellent.
I was a server, so we used to do all of that.
And it's on. And actually, when I opened up my business, I didn't know anything about the industry, so I learned everything that I worked there as far as the customer service that we were taught, because the training was very rigorous. And so I implemented it into my business. And because I couldn't afford to do postcards, what I do, I'm in the beauty industry with hair, I used to have my assistant to call all of the clients that we had serviced to say, hey, how do you love your hair? Is there anything we can do? How would you improve? Would you recommend us? And that was really helpful because not everyone was ecstatic about every single step in the process. So we caught areas that we needed to tweak, and we were able to fix their issues before, because some people aren't going to complain. They just weren't going to come anymore. And so we saved a lot of business by doing that also.
Absolutely. You know, unfortunately, in this time and place that we're in, many times people will just go immediately to social media and complain like crazy. Doing that ahead of time and saying, you know, hey, was there anything that we could have done better? That's a great way to, you know, really find out how can I make myself better, but also give them a sounding block that's not in a negative connotation out in the public, because you don't want that. That's even worse.
Now, and another thing that you can tack onto this, and this is something that we've had a lot of success with, is you take those details that you learned, because now you know Sally specifically likes it when I shampoo her from the left to the right. And you can actually add these to the different contact information you have from them. So not only are you learning about them, but if your system is able to share that with you right before Sally comes in for a wash and blow, boom, now we're able to really drive that experience up. So there's just little small things that allow you to accomplish more.
Yeah, my stylist, yeah, I don't go to a barber. She knows I love that brain massage, and it's just.
So that brings us into this third idea, is how do we even go about using these automations? Now, I said it earlier, and everyone's got routines in their life. It's the morning routine, it's the work routine. And so inside our software, we just call the automations routines. Now, lots of people call them lots of other things. It could be
workflows, action plans, whatever.
But these are those AI-powered automations that help you handle those repetitive tasks and those tasks that don't necessarily need your personal touch. And so you can take those and you can actually apply the core strategies that Mark shared about to this. This is things like having your lead follow-up be automatic. You pre-write all these, you plug it in, so now anytime a lead is communicating with you, you can send back that email to them. Now, the really cool thing you can do is it can be custom specifically to them. Maybe they prefer to have it written in Spanish, or maybe it needs to really be focused. But you can focus in on all of the different core strategies pieces specifically using AI. So there is a traditional way of building these workflows. And Mark, if you want to share about this traditional process, you kind of touched into it.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is a picture of very similar of what we've seen agents do. And instead of doing this now, utilizing AI, all this kind of goes away, because you can put all those different sticky notes of information, of parts and pieces of your operations, of your conversions, your retention pieces, all of them into the system, let the AI then be able to organize them in a much better, easier way, specifically for your business, to make sure that it is flows much smoother.
That's right. And where traditionally we had to do that 2-week productivity log, and then we have to take it into our software, that can take 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. And then they're still highly reliant on these manual engaging moments where you just, it may be automatic, but you still have to keep tabs on it. And so you find yourself being bottlenecked by your technology. And so this is where adding AI into your daily operations can really help. I want you guys to kind of think of AI as being your invisible business partner. It's these little robots that are just going behind you and helping take care of these tasks. Now, you do need to identify them. That's where finding those systems comes in. But once you've identified them, you can start setting them on these tasks.
You'll be hearing a lot, and you currently do, but you may not understand it yet, but a lot about GPT agents. GPT agents are these bots that are specialized in a certain aspect of your business. And as you build your business and have these AI bots, GPT agents, working for you, it can streamline everything that you do.
That's right. And so a great example of this, maybe you find yourself writing an email again and again and again. Well, maybe you're pretty good at writing it because you write it so many times, but it still takes you 3 minutes to write it. You send it 10 times a week. By the end of the year, that's almost a 40-hour work week. That's your vacation. That's your date night with your significant other. And that was just one email. And so when you start identifying these small little things that you can task the AI to help you with, you can start freeing up your time. Imagine I now had, from just that 3-minute email getting automated, I now have almost a 40-hour work week each year that I can invest in my clients with maybe one-on-one meetings or an additional phone call, or we go out for coffee or grab lunch together. And it's those truly personalized interactions where it's one-on-one. It's the human engagement. We're not using AI to take over the task. It's just enhancing what we're able to do and how we're able to show up to our people. So last homework piece I have, it doesn't actually have a task for you guys, but it does have some key benefits. I wanted to just send you guys off with some resources. If you find yourself thinking about AI, if you find yourself curious, how can I add this concept to my business, this is a great way for you to start. And it starts with enhancing business operations. Those tasks that you find yourself in your business doing again and again, it can help you automate out all those things. It can start by helping you improve customer communications. And it can actually customize these specifically to the person receiving it. Like I said, the more you learn about your people, the more you're able to use the AI to create truly personal interactions. My personal pet peeve is the industry standard for our industry is these merge fields, these little bracketed things that'll pull in information. And everyone's probably seen an email that was using it. It'll say like, dear, and then your name. And you're like, man, did someone sit there and write this personally? No, they used a little pulling field, a merge field in it. And industry-wide, this is considered as like personalized email. Man, I put your name on it, so it's personalized. That's not the case at all. And so when you can use AI and, maybe the message goes to Mark on his birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. Hope you get to go out and check out the comet that's going to be shooting on the 17th. That's more personal. And the AI was able to do that because it knows Mark is into astronomy. And the last thing that it can help you do is deliver that world-class client experience. It's automating out the small touch points so you can focus on the big human-to-human interactions that allow you to move the needle. So we talked about our formula. It's finding your people, your niche, building your authentic voice, making sure you know who you're speaking to and how you're speaking to them, and you make it consistent across your personal one-on-one interactions, your marketing, the messages you send out, and then you build resources for each of these areas. That's going to help you bring in leads, and everyone needs more leads. I'm confident of that. You can do this by posting it to your website, pointing traffic to it, and then having them trade their details for your resources. There's actually 2 more pieces to the puzzle. The second thing you need to do is you need to identify these systems. Once you identify them, you can create these automations, these routines, and then as leads come into your system, these systems can start handling these as you learn more, as these important dates or these key moments get filled out. Your automations can start taking on those tasks for and with you, right? So this, for us, looks like SAM triggers an automation. It's going to help you nurture a lead, or it's going to help you take a lead and convert them into a customer. And at every point, it's going to help you deliver that world-class client experience that's going to help you shine, that steak from Ruth's Chris moment for you. And then as this is all happening, you're able to focus on building better relationships with your people. Now, what this does in real estate is it creates a really good repeat referral network, meaning the people you've worked with want to come back and work with you, and they're more than happy to share about you to all of their friends when someone says, hey, does anyone know of a good real estate agent? And this is exactly what Ruth's Chris was able to capitalize on. That maybe it was 15 years ago, and Mark's still sharing about it. And if a steakhouse can do it, you can do it, right? And so this is how you start to grow your business naturally.
The thing about this is you set the systems up one time. You can handle 1, you can handle 100. That is scale, okay? The ability to handle them no matter how many there are. and using AI in your business is the way to do it.
That's right. So kind of putting a ribbon on this, tying it off into a bow, a lot of people find themselves in this hustler mentality, these 14-hour days, 6 days a week. I got to grind out to be successful. And ultimately, they find themselves struggling to get to that success. But when you start moving towards becoming a systems thinker, thinking about what things am I doing again and again? How can I make my life just a little bit easier by utilizing my technology to save time? You are going to unlock what I call our workflow secret, and that's leveraging AI to create better systems inside your business.
That's it.
That's it. So thank you. I'm going to open the floor. If anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to just chat, we've got a little bit more time. Yeah.
And please wait for the mic.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had the first question that I had, and we can always come back and open it up, and if there's time for more. So what are your strategies for like feeding your AI? So there's, you referenced them a number of times, like having the AI know that this person is interested in X or that they had Y experience. Is there a way that you set it up, for instance, to log emails, or do you have, some sort of strategy built into place where you spend X amount of time every day feeding data to the AI on your clients and prospects?
So the way we are doing it is we've built SAM, the software, and everything that gets put into it is put into what would be known as a vector database. It's the knowledge base that the LLMs and the large language models use to keep tabs on everything that you're doing. It is local to you, so it's not everybody in the world has that. It's just your information in your little ecosystem. So, it's private to you. The thing that you're doing in most CRMs that you're putting out there, majority of them, you collect the data and it just sits there and collects dust. What we're actually utilizing it is as a true knowledge base of everything that you're doing, not only about the person, but how do you do business. Even client behavior. So if they open an email, that triggers a behavior trigger that could then start a process and do something. So the collection is you doing what you've done already every day anyway. We're just making it smarter.
And as far as how that gets facilitated, there's lots of different ways. You as the person using the software can learn about your writing style and how you speak to people, who you speak with, right? When it's creating resources for you, it learns what kind of resources you're creating. But then those people that you bring in, your past clients, your customers, or your leads, as you're working with them, as you're building those relationships, you can actually add personal details, Mark likes astronomy, things like that the system can also pull from. And so it can create those customizations to them while also being custom to you. Other things you can do in real estate, maybe they have preferences that you learn. I'm looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, mid-century with a backyard and a fence. That's awesome. As a real estate agent, that's really valuable to know. And so putting that into the system, you probably already were going to, but now the system can actually use that information to help you. So you can that's how, and then you can kind of apply it using that. Yeah.
And in our 1 o'clock session, we'll have, although Sam is great, we'll provide instructions on how to create your own GPT with your own data. So stay for
Excellent. Yeah. That's a must-see.
The GPTs that are out there like that are great. They focus in on one thing. And the challenge with that, and why we've done it the way we've done it, is we bring all your business together in one piece and be able to use it as a whole entity.
So Mark, you're going right where I was going to go, which ties into the 1 o'clock. But would you guys maybe have suggestions maybe post breakout today on? It seems like you all are focused on real estate, which is awesome. Makes a ton of sense with the industry and what you're building. maybe just any suggestions for other industries and software types that maybe we could just look into that might be less specialized or that you all may see of good value based on your experience.
Sure.
That would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. There are a lot, I mean, even just getting in and playing with ChatGPT and the GPTs would be huge, huge benefits to you. While we are focused in on real estate, technically the software will work for anybody in any industry.
I think as far as solutions go, OpenAI's LLM, ChatGPT, has been an invaluable resource for us. It can do a lot for creating resources. It can do a lot for building code sets. And if you have $20 a month to invest in the subscription, it's $20 well spent because it unlocks the 4.0 model right now. The power that it has is moving on from just basic text generation, where it's guessing like, oh, statistically this would be the next word you would want to use. That's kind of how it builds it, to really understanding what it's actually saying. It's contextual, and so you can do a lot of cool things. If your marketing budget is limited, there's a LLM called Llama that is really powerful as well. But these GPTs, I cannot recommend enough. Go to that 1 p.m. session, because these GPTs allow you to do that focused work. You could build a GPT specifically for creating your resources or specifically for helping your client nurture. And so you're going to have a lot of power in those.
What you have here is really interesting. I've invested a lot in different platforms that have one piece but not the other. So you have the email blast, you have the funneling, you have like the text marketing, and all of them either lack one component or the other. So does the system that you offer, is it comprehensive in offering all of those parts, like the funnels and all of those things? And also, does it have that memory recognition like ChatGPT, where it can keep an ongoing conversation going? Like if the client were to respond to the email, does it automatically respond back? And how does it segment different people based on different categories and things like that? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, we are still working on a few pieces dealing with the emails. So because of the communication, we do integrate with SendGrid and Gmail and finishing up some on the Outlook pieces. But being able to take that information, retain it, and then utilize it for the next conversation is where it's going.
And because it's locally housed in your system, once you share that information, the system keeps that knowledge. So whereas in ChatGPT, you're going to be limited in that specific chat to so many tokens before the system starts kind of summarizing in the middle, the system is not going to do that because it's all housed.
One of the challenges with LLMs right now, and it will get better, is that token, how much can I store? And once it gets too large, it starts summarizing some of the information. It'll retain the top and it'll retain the bottom, but it kind of gets fuzzy in there in the middle. And that's where you get some challenges. So you got to be careful with that.
We have time for one more question.
There's Steve.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does your AI, can it produce any type of metrics about how many automations it does a day?
We have a dashboard that allows you to see kind of where your business is at. So it does some business analytics of working on your business and in your business. We do have that on your business as well. So it will figure out some of the things that you're doing and enhance where it's going to go.
You can also see when you use some of the different email services, you can see open rates, click-throughs, stuff like that, that are just readily available stats.
Awesome. Let's give a round of applause to Mark and Cody. Thank you so much on some wonderful tips on how to